So for this episode, what I want to talk about is when is the best time for you to learn how to ride a motorcycle or pick up this hobby of motorcycling. And I'm just going to turn on the engine here, like so. Whew, that is loud. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you guys my personal experience on how I got to ride my Iron 883 or get my motorcycle license in the start of my midlife crisis, and what I wish I had done a little bit differently so I could have gotten on my motorcycle a lot earlier. So let's get going. Alright, so let's talk about early days. During my teenage days, I had no access to a motorcycle or anyone that rode a motorcycle because my family were so against motorcycling. They just kind of viewed it like it was a dangerous hobby and that I'm destined to get into a very bad accident, end up in the hospital or worse. So yeah, the teenage days were right off. I was just learning how to drive a car, and that was already enough excitement in my life that I did not need to get myself on a motorcycle. Have I thought about it? For sure, but mostly because I wanted that cool guy factor so that I can get some more attention from the opposite sex. But I knew I wasn't coordinated enough and that my parents would not approve of me getting a motorcycle, so yeah, that was out the door. Now in my college days, or in my early 20s, I was too busy with school. I really had no time. I had no money. That was a time where having a car was a luxury, and that was enough for me. Once I graduated from college and was able to earn some decent enough money, motorcycling was on my mind, and there was a couple times where I actually picked up the licensing book, and at this time my friends were getting into motorcycling, so it would have been an optimal time for me to get into it as well so we can all enjoy the hobby together. I wanted something that was like the fastest bike out there. Like I wanted the Hayabusa. I don't know why. It's probably because I watched too much Fast and the Furious and I wanted something that can like rip the roads. But luckily my job got in the way. I was relocating from one side of the country to the other, and I really did not have the time to get into this. And plus, because I was so young with little experience, the insurance cost was through the roof. I know some of my American friends are always questioning, why do I pay so much insurance? Well, in Canada, insurance is fucking expensive. Even if you have a clean, beautiful record, you are still paying at least $100 to $300 a month for a vehicle. I know some of my viewers, they commented in the past that they pay like $50 for their bike for the whole year. I don't know, man. I wish I had that kind of deal, but nah, we Canadians pay a shit ton for our leisure activities, even for our cars. Regardless, that was not the right time for me, even though I think lifestyle-wise that would have been the best time for me to get into motorcycling because I didn't have any responsibilities other than work. I didn't have a wife, I didn't have kids, I didn't have any dependents. It was all me, single dude, having fun, and the only thing that's at risk was my mindset. I was not mature, man. I was so immature, and I was all about like going fast, being a bit rebellious, you know, like a knowing stage of your life when you look back and like, fuck, I wish I really done something differently or handled things differently. That was my time in like the late 20s where I felt cocky. And yeah, if I got into motorcycling at the time, I would have been one of those people who would have bought like a leader bike and then probably trashed it on the road because I wouldn't know how to handle that bike. But that's how I was living at the time. Now fast forward to my early 30s when I got married, had my first kid. Horrible time to get into motorcycling, and luckily I knew that, and I'm saying it was a horrible time because there are so much in my life that I would lose if something would have happened to me. So I knew that was a horrible time for me to get into it, even though I kept looking at it, you know, I kept looking at pages, looking at different bikes and just fantasized over things, but I just didn't have the urge or the motivation to actually pull that trigger. A few years after, once I hit age 35, I don't know what happened. Some of the chemical imbalances of starting in my midlife category or midlife crisis, I probably... Oh, hold on, I got a call. Hello? What's going on? Oh. Well, I mean, like, it's one cougar, no? What do you want me to do? Okay. Are they asking for volunteers, like bring our rifles and kill the cougar? I'll do it. No, okay. Love you, bye-bye. Yeah, so apparently there's a cougar at my kid's school and that there is a lockdown. And therefore my wife cannot pick up the kids because of a fucking cougar. That's hilarious. Welcome to British Columbia, huh? Anyways, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I hit this weird road bump in my life. I don't know what it was. I wasn't feeling really great. Did not have the confidence I used to have when I was like, you know, early 30s or late 20s. Something needed to change in my life, I found. And COVID happened, lots of time at home, not the best time to go through your first session of midlife crisis. Then I watched this video. I don't know what it was, but it was like a Yami Noob video, I think, or it could have been Blockhead. I'm not sure exactly which one, but watching a few of their videos really energized my want to get on with motorcycling. And it was just kind of lined up perfectly because there was some time to study for the motorcycle knowledge exam. And it just happened that I was able to find a motorcycle riding instructor that could squeeze me in within like a couple weeks of signing up because they had a lot of openings. So I asked my wife, hey, you know what, I really want to try to get my license and see where I take it from there because I just want to know, can I ride a motorcycle? And I got myself onto the course where that was when I got my first exposure to riding a 250cc motorcycle. And ever since that, I was hooked, like really hooked. Like within that first week, I went to a couple dealerships to look for my first bike, did a ton of research online, and I realized, you know what, I really love the look, the sound, and I think the power delivery of an Iron 83 Sportster. Now, 3 years later, I am approaching the age of 38, and now I look back and I wonder, did I make the right choice learning how to ride a motorcycle at this time of my life? And the answer is yes. It just brings me so much joy being on a motorcycle. Like, look at this right now. I'm stuck in the fucking traffic. This is like every day, right? Like rush hour. But being on a motorcycle is completely different. It leaves you with very little things to think about other than the safety of yourself on the road. But yeah, like I look back right now, there's no regrets in terms of riding my motorcycle. And I'm glad that I started when I started because I was a lot more mature. Like I had a lot more driving experience, so I can kind of understand the habits of other drivers around me because that's very important. But realistically, if I look back all the way through my years, I think the best time would have been my late 20s when I had no dependencies. And at that time, because I don't have dependencies, I would have done more trips, probably upgraded different styles of bikes so that by the time I hit my current age, I would already be on an upgraded bike without having to get permission from my wife. But yeah, that's a long story there. I'm not sure if it's going to benefit you at all. But all I can say is it's never too late to get into motorcycling because it's all about finding the right time for you to get into this hobby. And it can be quite rewarding if you apply it right. And yeah, life lessons will definitely keep you humble. So like I said, if you have any experience that you would like to share or any tips to my non-riders out there, put it in the comments below. And with that said, ride safe, ride prepared, ride on. Peace.